Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to my review of Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. I just wanted to start this off by saying, I never thought this game would get a remake, and I'm really happy that it did. There are some changes from the original compared to this remake, which is to be expected, such as there's different filters for your camera. Instead of the old games where you had to rotate the camera kind of to bring things from the spirit world into the real world, you have to wait and progress to the story, and then as you're holding up your camera you get like 4 different filters. One of them is your standard, one of them's to follow traces of people, another's to get rid of blood, and another's to pull out things from the spirit world into the real world, such as keys, chests, things that aren't there originally but will be there.
Lost village.
Another thing that I learned later on that you'll see throughout this video I recorded is that you should do side quests. There's side quests in the game, which is different from the original, where you'll be instructed to follow people's shadows or traces into certain buildings, such as the Osaka house, which is the first one you go into, the Tachibana house, etc., etc. You get what I mean. And after you follow them, you could get notes which uncover more lore to the game, which is always good. But you also get spirit stones. Now, traditionally, in the first game, spirit stones were just an added thing to give more lore to the ghosts that you fight. They would hold the last thoughts, memories of the ghosts that you fight. So, for instance, one of them was like a crying girl, and she was like, "It's dark, help me, I'm scared." But in this game, it works a little bit differently. In this game, the spirit stones, they give you buffs and attributes. I'm going to show you guys here really quickly to kind of go on a side tangent. Charm bag, that increases the slots that you can put these things, these charms, you can put the charms into, but you can also put the spirit stones into. I'm going to show you guys more unlocks that you get for completing the game. I completed it on easy, so some stuff is going to be unlocked on hard mode. These are some outfits. I can't afford any of them right now. Easy really doesn't give you a whole lot of spirit points for your camera, so keep that in mind when you're playing through the game, that easy is going to be easier but less rewarding. This is the start outfit that you get on default. This was a free download that I got. Starter for Mayu, and then the free download is her black kimono. Alright. There was certain mechanics in the game that you'll see later on throughout this video. I don't want to say it too early because then you're not going to know what I'm talking about until it's too late. But basically, when you're fighting enemies, an enemy has a chance to be enshrouded in this red aura, and it kind of makes them a little bit obscure, and that would just mean they're stronger, they regain some health, sometimes a lot of health, and it's a mechanic that sometimes was a pain to deal with, but it wasn't too bad. Also, when you're doing a new game plus of the game, then you're not going to go in with all the filters already, because you're supposed to unlock those later on in the game as you progress, which is a real pain for me because you can find a whole bunch of photos, right, of spaces where you need that one filter to unlock it, and that's pretty stupid. But going back to the jewels thing that I was talking about, right? Um, the jewels, they give you certain stat bonuses, like increased increased dodging when you like shake off a spirit that grabbed you. Your distance when you shake off of them will be extended. Another's willpower regeneration is quicker. You get health for every photo you take in a certain filter, etc., etc. Some of them increase or decrease the amount of wraiths that you will encounter. So if you want to make the game harder, there's certain jewels that you can equip to make it so you fight more ghosts, which, in my opinion, is good if you want to keep racking up some points to buy items. I don't have it on, I have a different one on. And if you want to equip more of those charms, well, all you have to do is buy more of those bag spaces that I showed you earlier. The charm bags, they go for like 20k points, I think. And you can equip more of those crystals that you get through your first playthrough. And, you know, either make it more harder of an experience or more easier of an experience. Maybe you're having more difficulty with these ghosts and you don't want to encounter as much. Alright, just slap on some charms that allow you to not encounter as many. Also, on the topic of New Game Plus, you are able to buy more stuff from the exchange, like all those films that you saw. The Type 14, the Type, I think 36, 90, all that is not available in your first run through. You have to complete the game in order to unlock those. So be wary of that, you know. It wasn't too bad of an experience. I never felt really I was running out of film until like the very end of the game, but I held on to my Type 0 film, which you should all do. And I basically had no difficulty with the last boss. So, you know, keep that in mind as well. As for what I think about the game, I think the game's really good. Sound effects when you're walking up old wooden stairs sounds like actually walking up old wooden stairs. You know, you're gonna hear the creaking of the wood. You're gonna hear like the house is like groaning or whatever you call it. You know, the house is settling. That's what it's called. Excuse me. I know I'm jumping topic to topic and it's not good for a review video, but you know, it's me, so bear with me. In past Fatal Frame games, you had multiple modes to take pictures, but in this one it feels really good because your special attack, now each filter does a special attack, but I'm gonna say normal for a lot of people. The normal filter, this one right here that I'm using, its special attack basically like pushes them back and like blinds them a little bit. But we're not here to talk about the special attack. Have you ever played, no, people who played past Fatal Frame games, they know what it's like when they take a photo of a specter. Now that's how you get points as well. You know, random specters, it's tied to some trophies and stuff like that. You know, you missed the photo, right? You missed the photo, and then you're trying desperately for that film to load, and then all of a sudden, right when the film loads, the specter vanishes. Right? Everyone who has played a past Fatal Frame game knows that feeling. Unless you're on multiple playthroughs and you know everything, or you got a guide and you expect it. But even when you got that knowledge in your at your disposal, it's still tricky sometimes. Sometimes those guys are quick. Well, this game, you don't have to take a photo of it normally. And to take a photo, it's you aim with your left trigger, your L2, and then R2. You take the photo, right? And that would use film. However, what if I told you you didn't have to do that? No, no, no. You don't have to waste a single thing of film taking a photo. What instead you can do is you can hit R2, which is right above it, and it's not a bad placement for it, to use your special power to take that photo for you without using film. Now, that is really good because you get basically two chances as long as you have willpower, because it requires willpower to do the special, to take a photo of a specter without losing the opportunity. Now, can you do your regular one? Of course. Of course you can do that. But, it's there in case, you take your photo, you missed, and then you can hit R1 to quickly get it back without having to wait for the film to load. That's really good and it's really helpful, especially to new players who are like fully in the know of how this game works. So that's a great thing that this remake does. Another great thing that the remake does is when you're allocating skill points to the camera can be reset. So basically, I had a video up and a short up talking about like what you should upgrade first, and that is your focal points. That gives you more of those red symbols that pop up on the screen, and basically you're gonna do more damage to the ghost. You should upgrade that first because you'll be able to one-shot most spirits on easy mode if you have type 14 film, which for the record, second weakest film type. So yeah, there's that. That's a good thing. But say you put a skill point into zoom. You put your first skill points into zoom, right? But you want to change that. Well, you can just get a reset pearl, which I got one that I know of throughout my playthrough, my first playthrough. And you can reset it, and then you can allocate that skill point to where you want it to be now, which is very good because not all people are going to know what they're going to do. For an FYI of like good measure, the first 3 that I would recommend for just like your first playthrough, just chilling. Focal point is your number 1. Then I would go with reload speed, and then I would go with film capacity. Those are the 3 I would start with, in my opinion. Other people might have differing opinions, but those are the 3 that I would recommend on your first playthrough to make it easier for you. Focal point, I've already explained. Reload speed, you'll be able to reload film quicker, so you're not waiting forever to miss an opportunity to take a picture or, get attacked. And then film capacity, you can pick up more film, so you don't have to go up to a piece of film and be like, oh, I can't carry anymore. No, you can carry a lot. You just need to upgrade it. So those are the 3 I would recommend for your first playthrough. Second playthrough, I'd recommend other stuff because you're trying to be more completionist. But that's a thing for like, I can answer that if you have a question about that in the comment section below. They also introduced sneak attack, which basically, if the ghost can't see you and you're able to take a photo of them, you'll do more damage. However, my first playthrough, I only had very few opportunities to do sneak attacks. Now that's probably because I didn't upgrade Zoom, because Zoom's not a priority. I only recently upgraded Zoom, so that could be the issue. Ghosts, very well done. Their design is very well done, as always for a Fatal Frame game. You know, I always appreciate like the emaciated look. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, actually. I think I'm allowed to. Yellow. So you can see like the bones, the rib cages, all the horror and torture that's like on display for this game. It's pretty good. It's scary and it's a whole bunch of other stuff. Another thing that's new to the Fatal Frame game is opening the doors. There's a chance that a ghost is behind one of those doors, and you have the ability to close the door back up. But here's the thing though. Every time that I opened the door, I had no way of really knowing when a ghost was behind the door other than the flashlight freaking out. And the flashlight freaks out to multiple different things. Sometimes I had the flashlight freaking out and there was no ghost. And then there was times when the flashlight didn't act up and there was a ghost behind it. And every time there's a ghost behind it, you don't notice it until too late and you can't close the door anymore. And you take willpower damage. So, that's that. There were some annoying things in the game, but like nothing that's gonna ruin your real gameplay experience. It was pretty good. I finished the game within, I think, 17 hours. But like a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's really low." Like, yeah, it is low, but here's the thing, right? You're supposed to replay every Fatal Frame game. You're supposed to replay the game because there's stuff that you're going to miss. There's outfits that you unlock with each playthrough, depending on the endings you get or, the difficulty that you're on. There's multiple endings. So, yeah, you can play through the game multiple times. Maybe you missed a side story, maybe you missed something. Maybe there's something else that intrigues you about the game. So, if the time that I said that I finished this game worries you, don't worry because you're supposed to replay the game. Getting everything's going to take longer. As for like boss fights, now I'm going to be honest with you, I was playing on easy because, I wanted you to experience the story more than seeing me struggle, right? So I was playing on easy. And I don't know if it was just that easy is really easy or what, but boss fights did not seem really all that bad. Like I said, the last boss, now I was using the strongest film in the game against the last boss, had no trouble. Defeated him in less than a minute. So, easy's gonna be really easy once you start upgrading these camera things that I told you to, and hold on to type 0. You don't want to use your strongest film type unless you have to. Now, it's up to you how you want to play, but like that's what I would recommend to normal or like new players coming to Fatal Frame. So yeah, ghosts look great. Story's great. I really liked the introduction to the hand holding mechanic because it made you feel like you're actually, sisters bonding together. You're just two scared sisters walking around in the village. So I really liked that. It was a really cute thing, in my opinion, to do. It's really adorable. Outfits. I don't know about outfits because I've heard mixed things from people. Now I know that they did a update that put in more outfits, but I've heard from like online people. Now take this with a grain of salt that they've removed certain outfits. I don't know if that's true or not. I will be playing through to see if it is true or not. I hope that they didn't because outfits are one of the best things about Fatal Frame. You know, you had your regular outfits that were normal, but you also had your fan servicey outfits, if that's what you desired. Like swimsuits. Swimsuits are like a big thing in Fatal Frame. Why? You know why. Not saying it's good or bad. It's just how the games have always been, right? Don't come after my head. But yeah, this game's really good. It's really good. You know, especially if you can't play the original, because the original is a PS2 game, right? Now, if you have a PS3, you can actually go to the PS3 store and play the PS2 versions. Because on my PS3, I got Fatal Frame 1, Fatal Frame 2, Fatal Frame 3, right? So if you have a PS3, you can go play the original, and I'd recommend anyone to go play the original if they can. But if you can't, and this is how you have to play it, it's a great version of the game. The characters look good, the story is great, the side stories are pretty good. Sometimes it's a little annoying because I remember being kind of lost in the house, and then I got out of the house just to be put back in the house because of a side story. But yeah, it's a great game. It's a wonderful experience that I feel like anybody should play. There's so much that they've added to the game that I feel that it's for the better. Like they changed things, and I was a little bit taken aback at first because one thing that they changed was they made the Kusabe, which is the main evil boss, right? It's the last boss of the game, the Kusabe. Right? They made him into more of like a stalker enemy than how it was in the original. Now, how it was in the original is at random times in the story, he would show up, the Kusabe. He would show up, screen would go black and white, and basically you just had to run. You just had to run because you can't fight him. And then you just ran through a door and basically the chase would be over, right? It's just get to the door and then you're safe. Well, in this game, the Kusabe is more of a threat, right? You can't just get rid of him by going through the doors anymore, right? You have to actually go into these hiding spots, and you'll notice when you see them because they're like crouch level, they have like cloth covering them, and you have to hide from the Kusabe. You have to hide from him, otherwise insta game over because you can't kill him. He'll grab you and kill you instantly. And at first I didn't like that because I was like, well, this is just to make the experience longer. And it did that. But then I started to realize, it made him more of a threat. it made him more scary. And I had moments when playing the game where I felt anxious, like, am I gonna open this door and the Kusabe is gonna be right behind the door? Am I going to go down this way and he's gonna be there and I have to do this like game of cat and mouse trying to escape him? And that made me feel like I should accept it more. Right? Because for the most part, it does what it's supposed to do, which is make the game feel scary. And the feeling of he could be anywhere, he could be behind a door, I have to run from him, that makes it feel really good and really scary. Sometimes he showed up at moments that just made me go, oh, come on, man. But honestly, it's a good change. It's a good change that I feel uh, is worth it. It's not something that hurts the game. It's a change for the better. Now, if you had to take my opinion, I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna say the original is always gonna have that special place in my heart, right? Because games back then, right, you could interact with everything. Everything had a story. Things were things were done with such a passion, right? The original always have a special story and special place in my heart. And I'm not saying that this game doesn't have passion. Definitely does, especially like comparing things to the original, right? It has passion. I never had a moment in the remake where I was like, oh, I gotta go from here, and then I gotta go all the way there, and then I gotta go over yonder. No, everything was like, okay, I just gotta go to A. And then it's like, okay, from A I gotta go to B, and then B to C, and then C back to B, and then it didn't feel like a hassle to travel through the levels. In the original, I did have one moment where I was like, this is just a slog. I don't want to have to go over there. The only time I really felt like, I don't want to do this, was the side stories. And you don't have to do the side stories if you don't want to. I'd recommend doing it because, like I said, you get lore and you get the chance of getting crystals, which have special effects, right? And you want the crystals more than the regular charms because the crystals come with two effects, and the basic charms are just one thing, right? So you want to put crystals into your camera more than those regular charms. But the thing is, you have to unlock the crystals. Sometimes you have to find two pieces of a crystal to make a whole crystal. And that's why, you might put in a regular charm to take the place for the time being. So, there's a lot of footage left, and you're probably here wondering, like, get on with it. Do you think I should buy it? Yes. Yes, you should buy this game. Yes, you should play it, especially if you've played the original. If you like scary games, It's definitely no Resident Evil. You're not gonna pick up a gun and start shooting ghosts, right? That's not what Fatal Frame's about. Fatal Frame is about being up close and personal with your enemy and looking at the horror as you fight them. That's what it's about, You're not going to be crafting ammo, you know. You're armed with your camera and your film, and that's basically all you need for this game. It's just those two things. You also need courage. because it's horror. So, my rating for this game. This game a perfect 10 out of 10? No, I wouldn't say it's a perfect 10 out of 10. But, I'd say I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I'd give it an 8. An 8 out of 10 because it's a good game, it's a good experience, it's a good single player game. It does the original, it pays tribute to the original very well. In a lot of aspects. Outfits, again, I don't know, but like that's
Yai,
excuse me. Outfits are
what's
outfits,
going here? What do you mean? The ritual will begin soon. I feel
Characters,
it.
they look pretty good. Ghosts look great. It's all around a pretty good experience. Now,
Yai,
I understand
follow the princess.
if the playtime might drive people off. I understand that. I am one of those people who say, if you're paying X amount of dollars for a game, you should get that much out of it, right? If you're paying for
Yai,
most games are now like $75 where I live. If you're paying like $75 for a game, you should get $75 worth of enjoyment out of the game. I think this is a little bit cheaper.
go through the broken fence nearby.
I can't remember how much I paid for this game.
Yai,
Probably a little bit cheaper.
temporary the
But
village.
still, like I understand people out there, they might be turned off by that.
Other,
And even though I say,
other
you can replay the game to get more things that you missed, more endings, etc., that's not always going to be,
you're with trouble.
enough for them, which isn't a bad thing. It's just a personal preference, right? So I would say if you're one of those people, obviously, wait for a sale. It just came out, so it's not really going to go on sale. But you know, if you're interested in playing this game, but you're worried about price versus playtime, wait for a sale. I would recommend, you know, you should play this game. You should play this game. This game is really good. It's different from other horror games, and for some things, that's a good thing because it's not like trying to be a copycat. It's not trying to, you know, be a copycat of Resident Evil. It's not going to be a copycat of Silent Hill, and that is a good thing. It's not competing in that way. But the things that it does differently, you know, people who are fans of like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, they may be put off because it's not the same combat, it's not the same style of horror games that they're used to. But I'd say if you've never experienced a Fatal Frame game, right, I would recommend you at least try it out. You know, I'm not saying become a fan, right? I'm not saying to like something that you obviously don't like, right? I'm just saying try it out. There was a demo that came out that basically I showed the demo, right? I recorded doing the demo. So the demo's up. A lot of the parts are up as of recording this. I think every episode's out. I just need to put it into a playlist. But honestly, this game, in my opinion, to you guys, is a good experience. Any Fatal Frame game is a good experience. You know, it's different. You know, and like I said, it being different, it comes with its pros and cons. But all around, it's a good experience, and I think it's worth your time. Now, I'm gonna let the gameplay kind of like play out for itself, so like you can experience a little bit of what it's like without me yapping in your ear anymore, or if you can hear my cat, a cat yapping. But it's a good experience. So why don't you check it out? If you're on the fence, maybe check out a few of my videos. I'm not saying you have to subscribe. I'm not saying you have to like. I'm not saying you have to do anything like that. I am saying give the game a chance if you're on the fence of whether or not you should play it or, experience it. Check it out. That's why I do these videos, to make something enjoyable and hopefully, bring more people into this franchise because it's a good franchise, even though it's overshadowed by the big the big leagues. Without further ado, I'm gonna stop talking and let the rest of the gameplay play out for you guys. Hope you all enjoyed my review, and I'll catch you in the next one, whenever that may be. Debating whether or not to stream this game, just like chill out and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you all think if you've played the game, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Love you. Take care and stay safe.
You alone? The other key should... There might be villagers. Yeah.